at this
Out of
point?
proposed order, should the court be inclined to accept Dr. Skazinski's findings, and the state.
All right. Ms. Day?
Yes, the state is stipulating in an agreement. I've also already seen the order of commitment that Ms. Smith has prepared and have no objections to it.
All right, so you're both stipulating that Dr. Skazinski would testify consistent with his report if he was called to testify?
Yes, Judge.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. All right, I've reviewed the evaluation in the court file, and based on that review, and based on the party stipulation that Dr. Skazinski would testify consistent with his report if called to testify, I will adjudicate Mr. Higgins incompetent to proceed. He meets criteria for involuntary hospitalization, or order that he be transferred there. And if you'll bring the order. Yes, thank you. Okay. Madam Clerk, for filing in open court. And is there anything else we need to do other than set a date for Mr. Higgins' case?
No, Judge.
All right, let me make a note here of what we've done today. Madam Clerk, can we have a hearing date in August?
August 25th.
All right, August 25th will be the next hearing date. By then, we should have the 6-month report from the state hospital.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. All right, thank you, Mr. Higgins. All right, who's next?
Your Honor, I can go next. I have on page 3, Cherie Isbell, 2018 CF 1448.
All right, thank you. He's got that for the state. Cherie Isbell.
That'll be Ben Baird for the state.
Okay, let me pull up her. Okay, let me take a look at my notes real quick.
Sir?
Yes.
Cherie Isbell is on the contact precaution right now.
Is in the what?
Contact precaution?
Okay, thank you. So we'll proceed. All right. We'll proceed with attorneys only. So Dr. Burns opined that Ms. Isbell is incompetent to proceed and that it's probably permanent in nature. She's had 2 more arrests in Orange and 1 more arrest in Osceola. At the end of December, Judge Morgan appointed Dr. Skazinski to eval Isbell, and Dr. Skazinski filed a report. Someone filed a report yesterday of an eval that occurred on January 11th. That eval indicates that Dr. Danziger also has done a recent evaluation. They all opine that she is incompetent. What else do we need to address?
Your Honor, based on the new evaluation by Dr. Skazinski, I'd be asking for my client to be released on conditional release being that she doesn't meet the criteria for state hospital.
That does seem like the appropriate action at this time, Your Honor.
All right. Do we need to update the terms of the conditional release order in any way? I mean, she's continuing to get in trouble. Is her living arrangement appropriate? What?
Your Honor, I do have a conditional release order ready to, if Your Honor wants to put something different, I can type it in here.
Well, whatever you guys, I'm going to have to defer to you all on this to some degree because I'm not familiar with Mrs. Bell. I just know what I've read in these reports, and I'm sure Orange County's got their own conditional release orders. Have you talked to the lawyers up there?
I've tried communicating with them. I know that they're trying to do a hearing up there.
So she's not been adjudicated yet up there?
Not in one of the cases.
Okay. What do you have as the terms in the conditional release order?
Just that she will be going to Park Place, and she will follow any recommended treatment from Park Place, and not to possess any controlled substances without a valid prescription.
I mean, it seems like she's compliant with treatment, it's just that she doesn't respond to it. Is that accurate?
Yes, Your Honor. When I was reading Dr. Skaczynski's reports, it seems that he wants the change of medication.
Right.
It seems like the medication she's taking is not working for her.
Even if she is permanently incompetent based on the nature of the illness, it's going to be a 5-year period, right?
Yes, Your Honor, unless the state decides otherwise.
Right. Any odds of that, Mr. Baird?
Not at this time, given that Dr. Skaczynski is still talking that she may be able to improve with competency restoration.
Yeah, I get it. I question how long how long the foreseeable future can be prolonged, given that everyone has been saying foreseeable future for 2 years now. But okay. Does she live with her sister?
I believe that's her sister. I've been in contact with her. I know she lives with a woman that is in constant contact with me, and I believe it's her sister, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Well, Mr. Baird, is there anything additional that you would want to see in the conditional release order?
No, sir.
All right. That's fine.
Your Honor, Ashley, if the court will be inclined, she does have a new law here, 20 CF 3731. That information hasn't been filed, so I'm unable to file a motion to adopt the findings. If the court would be inclined, if we can do or if I could do an oral tennis motion to release the client on mental health PTR.
Mr. Baird, do you have any objection to
First
that?
of all, Your Honor, that's not in this division. Presently, that's in Division 201 with ASA Morales. That's an allegation of battery on an emergency medical care provider. I know nothing about the case. And frankly, I don't know if Dr. Skaczynski was aware of this case when he completed his evaluation. I'd have to go back and look at his report because that could choose the issue of whether she's a danger to others. That's a concern. I don't know if Dr. Skaczynski considered this or had this information when he wrote his report. Take a look and see at his report again.
Oh, that case was reassigned to this division.
Okay. Well, it hasn't been updated in my computer system yet.
All right. This was just, it was signed by Judge Karsten for Judge Nix on January 12th. Let me take a look at something. Mr. Baird, what was the date of the offense in 3731?
Let me take a look here. It looks like December 27th, 2020.
He's had a tragic life, it looks like. Nope, don't believe he mentions that offense. Let me take a look at something else. All right, the allegation in 2020 CF 3731 is that she punched a healthcare worker on his jaw with a closed fist. So here's what I'm going to do. Madam Clerk, forgive me for taking up 2020 CF 3731. I'm going to order that Dr. Skaczynski conduct an evaluation. In that case, with an eye toward whether the alleged occurrence in that case changes his recommendation with regard to placement and treatment. So what I'm going to do, Ms. Romero, is I'm going to deny your motion on that case until Dr. Skaczynski does that. I think he'll do that pretty quickly.
Okay.
And if he doesn't recommend involuntary treatment, I'll grant that as soon as you get me an order to that effect.
Your Honor, would the court be inclined for Dr. Susan just to do an addendum to his last evaluation?
That's fine, but I want to appoint him here so that he gets compensated.
Okay.
So that's why I'm not asking for an addendum to the other case. I want to do it in this one as well. And we'll have a report specific to this case.
If in that case, can we get some status quickly? I just don't want her to be stuck in jail for a long time.
So what we can do is we can, I mean, you can always, as soon as if something comes in sooner than the court date, you can contact Ms. Cooper and we can either have a hearing, or if there's no objection, I can sign something in chambers. Okay, which I'm willing to do. Madam Clerk, what do we have? He's pretty quick, right? A
Yes.
couple of weeks?
Very quick.
So, Can we have a, well, how about, what's, is February 8th a competency day or? Oh, jail fee day?
It's just a general competency day.
What's Friday the 12th look like? I think that could be attorneys only, couldn't it?
Yes.
Mr. Romero, do you have any objection to attorneys only setting?
No, Your Honor.
All right, so let's set it for Friday the 12th. And then if something comes sooner, we'll take care of it sooner.
Okay.
Okay.
And I know that today I'm actually going to be filing a 33-day motion as well, so whichever one comes first.
Okay.
They haven't filed anything yet.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. If she's entitled to the 33-day release, she'll be, let me put it on the record, she's ordered to get the evaluation with Dr. Kaczynski as soon as it's scheduled.
Yes, sir.
As a, all right, is there anything else? So I'm going to approve this conditional release order, and are you going to be sending that to Ms. Cooper?
I can send it to Ms. Cooper, or I can send it to one of the clerks.
Oh, yeah, send it to the clerk. Perfect. Thank you. All right, and then back. All right, who wants to go next? Yes, Ms. Perez, how are you?
Good. I'm ready on the plea for Ricardo Santiago.
Hold on just a second. Let me write some notes. Okay. All right, do we have Mr. Delgado Santiago there? I'm not able to hear you, officer.
Yes, sir.
Oh, perfect. Okay. I didn't know if you were saying something or not. I didn't hear.
Good morning, Judge Lauren Demers for the state.
Good morning. All right, and this is case number 2015 CF 800. So, Ms. Perez, am I correct in seeing that the VOP affidavit dates back to May of 2018?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay. And is he admitting all of the allegations in that affidavit?
That he admitted to the violations of conditions 2 and 3.
All right, are the violations alleged in condition 5 still pending?
Correct.
In condition 4 too, I suppose. All right, is that the state's agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Delgado Santiago, raise your right hand to be sworn. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I can't hear you, sir. I still can't hear.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Not sure what's going on with the technology this morning. Tell me your name and your birthday.
Ángel Andrés Delgado Santiago, 11/7/87.
And are you under the influence today of any prescription medications, illegal drugs, or alcohol?
No, sir.
Have you ever been diagnosed with a mental illness or emotional disturbance?
No, sir.
And, sir, how far have you gone in school?
12th grade.
Do you read and understand English fluently, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right. You've been charged for violations of probation, and at earlier hearings, you denied committing the alleged violations of probation. Among them are failure to pay the cost of supervision to the state of Florida, condition 2, and condition 3, leaving your county of residence without consent of the probation officer. You're also charged with a weapons offense and or with possessing weapons and with some new law offenses. Your attorney has said that you wish to withdraw your denial as to the first 2 conditions, the financial and the leaving the county of your residence without permission, and enter admission in exchange for a finding that you violated those conditions, an adjudication of guilt, and credit for the time that you've served, which is 994 days on this case. There would also be some court costs or cost of prosecution associated with this. Are those the terms you wish to accept, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And Ms. Perez, are you court appointed or privately retained?
Privately retained.
All right. Sir, I have a plea form here that is 3 pages long. There are initials at the bottom and a signature halfway down the 3rd page. And next to each of those, they say that they are made with defendant's permission to sign. Did you give someone the permission to place your name and signature on, your initials and your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, who did you give permission to do that? All right, and before you gave Ms. Perez the permission to place your initials and name on this form, did you have all the time that you wanted to speak with Ms. Perez about the charges, your defenses, and the risks and benefits of entering this plea? And did you have an opportunity to discuss with her the terms of the plea agreement and the terms of this document? And have you asked Ms. Perez all the questions you want to ask about your case, your defenses, and this plea? Has she answered your questions to your satisfaction in a way that you could understand? And are you satisfied with her representation? Do you have any complaints about anything Ms. Perez has done or not done? All right. You have all the rights that are listed on the first page of this form, sir. You're presumed innocent. You have the right to a final hearing. At that final hearing, you have the right to be represented by an attorney and the right to require the state to prove that you materially and willfully violated the terms of the order of probation. You have a limited right to remain silent as to new law violations, and you have the right to subpoena and present your own evidence and witnesses, and also to confront and cross-examine, with your lawyer's help, the state's witnesses. You also have full appeal rights. Do you understand, sir, that you have those and other rights and that you're giving them up by entering this plea? By entering the plea, there's not going to be a final hearing. I'm going to impose the agreed sentence, and your appeal rights are going to be limited to challenging the court's jurisdiction or authority to hear your case and the legality of the sentence imposed. Do you understand that? If you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will result in your deportation. Do you understand that? And if in the past you've been convicted of a sexually motivated offense, the plea could result in commitment under the Jimmy Rice Act as a sexually violent predator. Do you understand that? Has anyone forced, threatened, coerced, or pressured you to make you enter this plea against your will? Has anyone promised you anything to convince you to enter this plea? I'm sorry? Yeah, I said, has anyone promised you anything to convince you to enter this plea? And are you entering this plea voluntarily of your own free will? All right. Ms. Perez, are you stipulating to the factual basis set forth in the affidavit of probation?
Yes, for purposes of the PDA.
All right. Mr. Delgado Santiago, I'm going to ask you if you admit or deny, okay, and I need you to use one of those words in answering my question. So with regard to condition 2 of the order of probation, which required you to pay the state of Florida $20 per month toward the cost of supervision, do you admit or deny violating that condition? And with regard to condition 3 of the order of probation, which prohibited you from leaving the county of your residence without first having the consent of your probation officer, do you admit or deny violating condition 3? And are you making each of those admissions because you believe it is in your best interest to do so? All right, I will accept your plea. I find you're competent, coherent, and alert. I find that you freely, voluntarily, and intelligently waived your rights. I find that you have entered the plea knowingly, understanding the allegations and the consequences of the plea. I find you've been represented by a competent lawyer and that you are satisfied with Ms. Perez's representation. And I find that there is a factual basis for the plea set forth in the affidavit of probation based on Ms. Perez's stipulation. Ms. Perez, is there any legal cause why we can't proceed to sentencing? All right, sir. You're entitled to address the court. Is there anything you would like to say and have me consider before I impose this agreed sentence? Ms. Perez, the score sheet has 63.6 total points, 26.7 months lowest permissible prison sentence. Any objection? All right, so this is a DOC sentence, correct? All right. And State, do you have anything further to present?
The only thing I'll add, Your Honor, is it is a DOC sentence, but I think since he has been incarcerated in Seminole County on the new law, it ultimately is going to amount to credit time served at this time.
Right, right. All right. Was the warrant served? Is he entitled? Are you all stipulating to the time he served, or? Okay. All right. All right, sir. Pursuant to your plea, I am going to find that you violated conditions 2 and 3 of the court's order of probation, and that you did that materially and willfully. I'm going to adjudicate you guilty if you were not previously adjudicated. I'm going to sentence you to 994 days and give you credit for the time that you have served, which I believe is 994 days. Madam Clerk, is there an outstanding balance?
Yes, $777.22 outstanding.
So there's $777.22 outstanding. There's another $100 cost of prosecution. Ms. Perez, I'm not sure what the future looks like for your client. Should I reduce this to judgment?
I would ask you to do that.
All right. So we will reduce those costs, all of those costs to final judgment. All right. Is there anything else I need to do before I advise of appeal rights date?
I don't believe so. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Ms. Perez?
No, Your Honor.
All right, sir, you have the right to appeal my ruling today. Any notice of appeal must be in writing, must be filed within 30 days of today's date. The court would appoint a lawyer to represent you if you cannot afford one. Okay? Good luck, sir.
That's all I have this morning.
Thank you. Stay safe.
I know. See you later.
All right. Who else do we have there in the jail?
We have, Elena San Miguel. And we have Jose Torres.
All right, Carballo, okay. Are those the only two?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's take Miss San Miguel. Ma'am, raise your right hand to be sworn, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Tell me your name and your birthday, please.
Ileana San Miguel, November 6, 1975.
Are you under the influence today of any prescription medication, illegal drugs, or alcohol?
No.
Have you ever been diagnosed with a mental illness or emotional disturbance?
Yes.
What's that? Tell me the diagnosis.
Bipolar 1.
Okay, are you taking any medication for that today?
No.
When was the last time you took medication for that condition?
Before November 16, because that's the day I was arrested.
Okay. How are you feeling today?
The same way when I take medications.
Okay, so do you feel clear-headed?
Yes, sir.
You understand what's happening today?
Yes.
All right, tell me in your own terms what we're doing today.
I'm sorry?
In your own words, tell me what we're doing today.
Well, I'm supposed to be released. I was doing time for violating my probation.
Okay. All right. This is case number 2020 CF 1161. Can we have appearances for the state? Who's covering for the state?
That'll be Ms. Card.
Ms. Card, you're
Should be
on,
Ms. Card's.
you're on mute, Ms. Card.
Your Honor, can you hear me?
Yes.
Sorry about that. Lindsay Card for the state.
All right, and for the defense.
Azalea Ramirez Sanchez on behalf of Ms. San Miguel.
Okay, and Mr. Romero Sanchez, is it correct that your client is admitting condition 3 only?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is condition 5, is the event there still pending?
No information has been filed.
Oh, okay. All right. All right, ma'am. My understanding is that you are going to, in exchange for the state's agreement to let you retain your withhold of adjudication, you're going to admit that you violated condition 3 of the order of probation by changing your residence without obtaining the prior consent of the probation officer. You're going to be sentenced to the time you have served and placed on administrative probation for 1 day. I'm drawing a blank. What is RFT?
RT, Your Honor, is revoke and terminate probation.
What is between the R and the T? It looks like an F.
Like the plus sign.
Oh, there looks like a line above it, but maybe that's the T. Anyway, it looked like RFT. Thank you. All right. And then termination would be ended. Are those the terms you wish to accept, ma'am?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. I have here a 2-page document. There is some blue ink on the second page, and it's got a signature, and then on the address and phone number line, it says NA. Is that your signature, ma'am?
Yes, Your Honor.
It's got some curly cues on it. Is that how you sign your name?
Yes.
Okay. And it says that you have attended technical school. Is that correct?
Yes.
And do you read and understand English?
Yes.
All right. All right. So this form, ma'am, sets forth the rights that you have on the first page. You're presumed innocent. You have innocent of the violation charges. You have the right to a final hearing and to be represented by a lawyer in that final hearing. With your lawyer's help, you can require the state to prove that you committed the alleged violation, and the state would have to do that. They would have to prove that you materially and willfully violated that condition, and they would have to do that by the greater weight of the evidence. With your lawyer's help, you could confront and cross-examine the state's witnesses, subpoena and present your own evidence and witnesses, and you would have the right to testify and a limited right to remain silent as to new law offenses. You understand? You also have full appeal rights. Do you understand that by entering the plea, you're giving those rights up?
Yes, Your Honor.
And by entering the plea, there will not be a final hearing. I will impose the agreed sentence, and your appeal rights are going to be limited to challenging the court's authority or jurisdiction to hear your case and the legality of the sentence imposed. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand that by entering the plea, if you are not a U.S. citizen, it will result in your deportation?
Yes, sir.
And this may or may not apply to you, but if in the past you've been convicted of a sexually motivated offense under the Jimmy Rice Act, the plea could result in involuntary civil commitment. Are you aware of that, and do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Has anyone forced, threatened, coerced, or pressured you to make you enter this plea against your will?
No.
Has anyone promised you anything to convince you to enter this plea?
No.
And are you entering this plea voluntarily of your own free will?
Yes.
All right. Ms. Romero-Sanchez, are you stipulating to the actual basis set forth in the violation of probation affidavit?
For the purpose of the admission, yes, Your Honor.
All right, ma'am, with regard to condition 3 of the order of probation, I'm going to ask you if you admit or deny violating that. So with regard to condition 3, do you admit or deny that you violated that condition by changing your residence without your probation officer's prior consent?
I admit.
And are you making that admission because you believe it is in your best interest to do so?
Yes, sir.
All right, I will accept your plea, ma'am. I'm going to find that you are competent, coherent, and alert. I find that you freely, voluntarily, and intelligently waived your rights. I find that you have knowingly entered the plea, understanding the allegations and the consequences of the plea. I did not ask you if you are satisfied with your lawyer's representation. Are you satisfied with the work she has done on your behalf?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. I will find that you've been represented by a competent lawyer and that you're satisfied with her services and representation. And I'll find there is a factual basis for the plea based on the affidavit in the court file and your counsel's stipulation. All right, counsel, is there any legal cause I can't proceed to sentencing?
No, Your Honor.
How many days does she have?
140.
140? Okay. All right, and I have a score sheet which reflects total points of 16.2. Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
Ma'am, you're entitled to address the court. Is there anything you would like to say?
No, thank you.
Okay. Pursuant to the plea agreement, ma'am, I am going to find that you materially and willfully violated condition 3 of the order of probation. I'm going to maintain the withhold of adjudication. I'm going to sentence you to 141 days in the Osceola County Jail, give you credit for 141 days that you have served. I am going to revoke probation and impose a new term of 1 day non-reporting probation. There will be court costs, ma'am, of $100 for the cost of prosecution, $50 public defender application fee, and a $100 public defender lien, plus any outstanding amounts. $925.50 is outstanding, so that's more than $1,000 you're going to owe. Counsel, I can reduce it to judgment or give your client time to pay.
Ms. San Miguel, are you working right now?
I'm sorry?
Are you working?
No.
Do you have a job when you get out?
Yeah, I will get one.
Okay. Are you able to pay monthly your court fees?
Yes.
All right. So, ma'am, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you 3 years to pay that amount to the clerk of the court, okay?
Okay.
So it's up to you to make sure that gets paid in that 3-year period. If you fail to pay, what they will do is they'll refer you to collections, at which time another big fee will be imposed. It's like 30%. It's a big fee. And then they would suspend your driver's license if you had one, and if you didn't have one, it would be harder to get one, okay? So it's important that you pay in that 3-year period. All right? Anything else, counsel?
No, Your Honor.
All right, ma'am, you have the right to appeal. Any notice of appeal has to be filed in writing within 30 days of today's date. The court would appoint a lawyer to represent you if you are not able to afford one and you wish to appeal, okay? Good luck, ma'am. So left turns it off and right turns it on?
Or right turn it on.
What are the two little ones in the middle?
Different sections of the courtroom.
Oh, okay. Oop. That's not what I want.
We on the same page now.
Let's put it on an hour. All right, let's take Mr. Torres Carvalho next.
Lauren Demers on behalf of the state.
And that is case number 2014 CF 729. Well, it's a determination of counsel. All right, sir, do you need an interpreter, or do you speak English?
Yes, I need interpreter.
Okay, hold on.
Good morning, Your Honor. This is Laura Arroyo, State Certified Interpreter.
Good morning. I have before us, he's at the jail actually, Jose Torres Caraballo, 2014 CF 729. All right, so raise your right hand to be sworn.
Bien, levante la mano derecha para prestar juramento.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
¿Jura usted solemnemente que la declaración que rendirá será la verdad, toda la verdad y más que la verdad? Yes.
Okay, so the reason you're here today is because I have received two applications requesting appointment of the Public Defender Office.
Señor, la razón por la cual usted se encuentra aquí es porque yo he recibido dos solicitudes para que se le designe un defensor público. Okay.
Both of those applications indicate that you do not qualify for appointment of the Office of the Public Defender.
Ambas solicitudes indican que usted no reúne los requisitos para que se le pueda designar defensor público.
But we have some questions because there seem to be some inconsistencies in the form.
Pero tenemos algunas preguntas que hacerle, ya que parece ser que hay ciertas inconsistencias en los formularios. Okay.
So I have the ability to overrule the clerk who decided you were not eligible, but I need to ask you some questions before I make a final decision.
Pero yo tengo el derecho de descartar la decisión de la Secretaría del Juzgado al decir ella que usted no cualifica, pero para ello tengo que hacerle unas preguntas. Okay.
All right, so the form says you have two dependents. Who are those?
Muy bien, en el formulario consta que usted tiene dos personas a su cargo. ¿Quiénes son? My children, my daughters.
How old are they?
¿Qué edades tienen? One is 12 and the other one is 3.
And who do they live with, sir?
¿Y con quién viven ellas?
Con la mamá, la primera fue la otra.
With the mother, I've divorced I've divorced the mother of the first child, but the other child is with me.
Okay. Who is the child with while you're in jail, sir?
¿Y con quién se está quedando esa niña mientras que usted se encuentra encarcelado?
Con la mamá.
With her mother. With my wife.
So do you pay child support for the child that does not live with you?
Para la niña que no reside con usted, ¿está usted pagando pensión alimenticia? That is correct.
How much do you pay? And do you pay weekly or monthly or some other way?
¿Cuánto paga usted? ¿Y acaso lo paga usted semanalmente, mensualmente o de alguna otra forma? They deduct it from my weekly check, and if I'm not mistaken, it's $127.
All right, so $127, 52 times a week. 52 times a year.
Entonces, $127, 52 semanas al año. That is correct.
Where do you work before you were incarcerated, sir? Where did you work?
Antes de ser encarcelado, señor, ¿dónde estuvo trabajando usted?
Yo estaba trabajando en Virginia, trabajo en las plantas nucleares.
I was working in Virginia in a nuclear plant.
What were you doing in that plant?
¿Y usted qué hacía en esa planta?
Yo soy paisero, instalo tuberías.
I'm a pipe filler. I install pipes.
And do you have that job now? If you were able to be released from jail, would you have that job?
Usted tiene ese empleo ahora, es decir, si fuera a ser puesto en libertad de la cárcel, ¿tendría usted todavía ese empleo?
Sí, los jefes los supervisores me están esperando.
Yes, my bosses, my supervisors are waiting for me.
How long have you had that job?
¿Hace cuánto tiempo que usted ha tenido ese empleo?
Yo tengo 31 años y aproximadamente trabajo para varias compañías desde los 17 años.
31 years, and I've been working for various companies since I was 17.
You've been working for the company in Virginia for 31 years? Or you've been working as a pipe fitter for 31 years?
¿Usted ha estado trabajando para esa compañía en Virginia unos 31 años o es que ha estado instalando esas tuberías por 31 años?
No, he trabajado en diferentes compañías desde los 17 años, pero mi trabajo es contrato, ¿sabes? Que trabajo 3 meses en un estado, 2 meses en otro estado, subcontrato.
I've been working with different companies for 17 years, but my job is contractual. I'll be working 3 months in one state, 2 months in another state. I'm a subcontractor.
Got it. Do you work for a specific subcontractor or do they subcontract with you directly?
¿Usted trabaja para una empresa de subcontratistas en concreto o es que esas compañías le contratan a usted como subcontratista?
Pues me contratan a mí, pero pues ya estoy permanente en la compañía, pero no trabajamos en el mismo estado, pero la compañía en sí tiene un shop en Utah, tiene otro shop en South Carolina y otro en Virginia.
They contract me, but I'm kind of like permanent with them. The company doesn't just work in one state. They have branches in Utah, South Carolina, and Virginia.
What's the name of that company, sir?
¿Y cuál es el nombre de esa compañía?
Universal Brasco.
Universal Brasco.
And how much money were you making each week in Virginia?
¿Y cuánto dinero estaba usted ingresando cada semana ahí en Virginia?
Pues al segundo día que yo entré a la base militar, pues me dijeron que tenía un warrant en Florida y no pude trabajar en Virginia.
Well, by the second day that I entered the military base, they informed me that there was a warrant in Virginia, so I was no longer able to work there. I'm sorry, a warrant in Florida, so I was no longer able to work there in Virginia.
So when was the last time you were actually working?
¿Cuándo fue la última vez que usted trabajó?
Antes de ser arrestado, estaba trabajando en Tennessee y pues a la semana yo hago unos 1,600 o trabajo 7, 12. Todo depende de la hora.
The interpreter just want to clarify something. Usted dijo si trabaja 7 a 12. No entendí.
Si trabajo 7 días, 12 horas.
Okay, gracias. Yeah. Daisy, before I was arrested, I had been working in Tennessee, and I was earning $1,600 if I work 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. It all depends on the work.
When was the last time you worked in Tennessee?
¿Cuándo fue la última vez que usted trabajó en Tennessee?
Para el mes antes de noviembre.
A month before November,
Antes de ir a Virginia.
before I went to Virginia.
All right, so the last time you worked was in October?
Es decir, la última vez que usted trabajó en octubre.
Sí, es correcto.
Yes, that's correct.
All right. Did you file, well, I shouldn't ask it that way. At the end of 2019, you probably received a W-2 form or a 1099 form. How much did that form say you made or earned in 2019?
A finales del 2019, usted habrá recibido la planilla W2 o 1099. En esa planilla, ¿cuánto figuraba que usted había ganado para el año 2019?
Sinceramente, ahorita no me acuerdo y mi señora me dijo que acabo de recibir otra planilla también, pero no me dijo la cantidad.
Right now, I don't remember, and my wife just told me that I received another one of those forms, but I don't know the amount.
Does your wife work outside the home, sir?
Señor, ¿su esposa trabaja fuera de la casa?
No.
No.
How is she paying her bills and supporting your daughter now?
¿Y cómo logra ella entonces pagar las facturas y mantener a su hija hoy día?
Pues yo tenía un dinero guardado y pues ella consiguió un trabajo cerca de la casa en un restaurante y pues la familia y pues ahí estaba batallando lograr pagar los biles.
Well, I had money saved aside, and she did find a job nearby in a restaurant, and with the family, they've been helping her get the bills paid.
Okay. How much did you have saved on the side, sir?
¿Cuánto dinero tenía usted ahorrado?
Yo tenía unos 5,400.
I had 5,000, 5,400, but none of that is left.
So that's all been used up while you've been in jail?
Todo eso se ha gastado mientras que usted ha estado en la cárcel.
No se ha gastado todo eso, pero se gastó en los biles y fue un poco en el teléfono, en la cárcel, y pues los biles que se pagaron en los 3 meses que llevo.
Not all of it was wasted, but it was used to pay bills, to pay phone calls from the jail, and for the 3 months I've been here at the jail to pay off the bills.
Right, that's what I meant.
Exacto, eso es lo que quería decir. Yes, that's correct. Yes, sir.
All right, so as of right now, the only money that is coming into your family is what is given to your wife by family or what she earns at the restaurant. Is that correct?
Entonces, actualmente, el único dinero que está recibiendo su familia para sustentarse es aquel dinero que la familia le está dando a su esposa y lo que ella está ganando en el restaurante.
Sí, es correcto.
Yes, that's correct.
And where does your wife live, sir?
I'm sorry, Your Honor, did you say live?
Yeah, where does she live?
¿Dónde vive su esposa?
En Utah.
In Utah.
So
Sand Lake City.
So she stays in Utah while you travel to the different states doing your work?
Entonces, ella se queda en Utah mientras que usted está viajando a diferentes estados para realizar su trabajo.
Sí, es correcto.
Yes, that's correct.
All right, thank you, sir. Based on the clarification that Mr. Torres Caraballo has provided, I will find that he is indigent, that he was giving the best case scenario for his income. So that's not accurate. I'm sorry, Madam Interpreter, go ahead, or do you need me to clarify something?
No, basado en la clarificación que el señor Torres Caraballo ha dado, he determinado que él es indigente. La información que él rindió era en los mejores casos para él.
I'll also note that the application for criminal indigent status is in English, and Mr. Torres Caraballo needs the assistance of an interpreter.
También haré constar que la affidavit de indigencia que él tuvo se encontraba escrito en inglés y el señor Caraballo está requiriendo los servicios de un intérprete en español.
All right. When is his next court date, Madam Clerk?
¿Cuándo es la próxima vista?
All right, sir, your next court date currently is set for May 13th. There may be one sooner, but it's not actually scheduled yet.
Muy bien, señor. Actualmente la próxima vista fijada en la causa para usted es el 13 de mayo. Es posible que se celebre uno antes de esa fecha, pero todavía no se ha fijado para ello. Please tell him thank you very much.
What's the status of negotiations between the state and defense? Have there been any because of the counsel issue?
¿Cuál es el estatus de las negociaciones entre la defensa, la fiscalía, o es que no ha habido ninguno debido al asunto con respecto a la asistencia letrada? Could you repeat that to me once more?
I was asking the lawyers if there have been any negotiations in your case or whether the negotiations were on hold because you didn't have an attorney officially.
Le estaba preguntando a los abogados si acaso se han llevado a cabo algún tipo de negociación en la causa o si en vez esas negociaciones se han suspendido porque usted no tenía un abogado. Yes.
All right, Ms. Demers.
Yes, Your Honor. I have been in touch with this.
Your Honor, I cannot hear the speaker.
Oh, hold on a second. All right, try again, Ms. Card. I've got my laptop up as high as it will go.
Yes, Your Honor. I have been speaking with Ms. Sanabria about the case. The state did relay a plea offer to the bottom of the guidelines, which at this time is 37.2 months, Department of Corrections.
Sí, su señoría. He estado consultando con la licenciada Sanabria con respecto a la causa y la fiscal ha indicado que le están extendiendo una oferta que sería a lo mínimo que permite las pautas, o sea, 37,2 meses de penitenciaría.
And as it relates to the technical violations only, the state is still waiting on the documentation from New York for the new felony convictions.
Y con respecto a los incumplimientos técnicos, la Fiscalía sigue esperando la documentación de Nueva York con respecto a los ilícitos nuevos cometidos.
And Ms. Sanabria was working on some mitigation and coming up with some counter offers for the state to consider as well.
Y la licenciada Sinagua estaba mirando a ver si existían pruebas atenuantes y a ver si podría dar una contraoferta a la Fiscalía para que ellos lo tengan en cuenta.
Ms. Sanabria, how much time do you think you're going to need? I'm just trying to get an idea of whether we're going to be able to hear this before May 13th.
Licenciada Sanabria, ¿cuánto tiempo va a requerir usted? Simplemente deseo saber si nos podemos ocupar de esto antes del 13 de mayo.
It's very likely that it will be before May. I'm just waiting on some documentation from Mr. Torres's prior employers just so I can show the state where he was, that he was actually employed and not getting in trouble or in jail or in prison. I would say in a month, that should be more than enough time to probably set this case either for a plea or for a plea to the bench.
Yo diría que antes de esa fecha simplemente estoy esperando la documentación de los empleados previos del señor Torres para poder mostrárselo a la fiscalía de que él en esas fechas o estaba empleado y no estaba metiéndose en ningún lío con las autoridades o que no estaba tampoco en la prisión. Yo considero que un mes sería más que suficiente para que se lleve a cabo un convenio declaratorio o para que se lleve a cabo un fallo a discreción de su señoría.
All right, sir, what that means is that you need to give or help get whatever documentation Ms. Sanabria asks for, okay?
Esto lo que significa, señor, es que usted tiene que darle o conseguir que la señora Sanabria reciba toda la documentación que ella requiera. ¿Está bien?
Claro, perfecto, así será.
Of course, that's perfect. I will do that.
And if she's able to get that information, or the sooner she's able to get that information, the sooner your case can be reset for another hearing.
Y tan pronto ella logra conseguir toda esa información, entonces antes se podrá fijar nueva fecha para su audiencia. Okay, perfect.
And we'll just leave it set for May, and you can always contact us if you want an earlier date.
Yes, Your Honor.
Lo dejaremos fijado para mayo y siempre podrá usted, licenciada, comunicarnos con nosotros si requiere fecha previa a esa.
All right, thank you, sir.
Bien, gracias, señor.
Yes, sir. Okay. Madam Interpreter, we have a gentleman here in the courtroom who also needs your assistance. I believe we've completed the jail, is that correct? Yes, sir, we have. And was Mr. Guidas transported today?
I haven't called him, sir.
Okay. I heard that they were going to, but I'm sorry?
Yes, sir. He will be transferred over to the courthouse.
Okay, thank you. We can drop this jail feed then. I don't know who does that, but. All right, sir, come on up.
Muy bien, señor, acérquese. The interpreter has established connection with the podium. If you could put headsets on.
He just put the headset on.
Sí, señora.
Connection is established.
All right. And are you Mr. Jimenez Reyes?
Sí, señora.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we're on the record. Can you all hear me at the jail?
Yes, Judge.
Excellent. All right, so we're here for first appearances. All right, just a reminder for everyone there at the jail, today is not a bond hearing. Today is just your first appearance. You've already received some information about what today is for. If I can set a bond, I will. Don't say anything about your case because we're being recorded and everything you say can be used against you by the state. This is only an initial appearance and not a bond hearing, as I said. If I order you to have no contact with someone, that means you can't do it directly and you can't do it through another person or in writing or electronically or in any other way. All right, let's begin with the interpreter cases, and we will start, and I'm not sure how to pronounce the name. Idnel Neomasco? I apologize. That's one I can't really make a good effort on. It's the Last name Genao hyphen Moscosco.
Oh, Henao Moscoso?
You said Hanayo? Hanayo Moscosco. Okay. Let me get the interpreter.
Good afternoon. This is Dalia Romero, Spanish interpreter on the line, already sworn in today.
Good afternoon, Ms. Romero. We're here for first appearances. The individuals are at the jail.
Okay, thank you.
Our first case is 21 CF 277. Hanayo Moscosco. All right, sir, you were arrested and charged with trafficking of fentanyl. Judge O'Kane reviewed the affidavit and found probable cause. And she set your bond at $100,000. You are entitled to be represented by a lawyer. I'm sorry, Madam Interpreter, go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. Señor Moscoso, usted está aquí por tráfico de fentanyl. La juez previamente había determinado que habían causas que respaldan la acusación y estableció que la fianza ha de ser de $100,000.
All right, you're entitled, sir, to be represented by a lawyer.
Usted tiene el derecho de ser representado por un abogado.
You may hire counsel, or if you wish to be represented by the Office of the Public Defender, and if you qualify, the court will appoint them unconditionally after you complete an affidavit.
Usted tiene el derecho de ser representado por un abogado, ya sea un abogado que usted contrate o la Oficina de Defensores Públicos se le puede designar después que llene la solicitud para que se le designe el defensor público.
I will provisionally appoint the Office of the Public Defender at this time.
Yo provisionalmente le designo la Oficina de Defensores Públicos para que le represente por el momento.
And Madam Clerk, are there any court dates?
El juez le ha preguntado a la secretaria si hay fechas de corte para el futuro.
So there are no court dates currently set. All right, thank you, sir.
Así que por el momento no tenemos fechas de corte. Gracias, señor. Thank you.
The next individual will be Juan Gonzalez Galivan.
Juan González Algon.
This is 21 MM254.
21 MM254.
Sir, you were arrested and charged with petty theft.
Señor, usted fue arrestado y acusado de hurto menor.
You're entitled to be represented by counsel. You may hire your own attorney, or if you qualify, the court will appoint the public defender to represent you at a later date.
Usted tiene el derecho de ser representado por un abogado. Usted puede contratar su propio abogado, o si es elegible, el juez le puede designar el defensor público para que le represente en una fecha más adelante.
For the public defender to be appointed unconditionally, you will need to complete an affidavit, and you will need to qualify.
Para que se le designe el defensor público incondicionalmente, tiene que llenar la solicitud para ver si es elegible.
In the meantime, I will provisionally appoint the Office of the Public Defender.
Entre tanto, yo provisionalmente le designo la Oficina de Defensores Públicos para que le represente.
So I reviewed the affidavit. I do find probable cause.
Yo he repasado la affidavit y hallo que hay causas que respaldan la causa.
The bonds are going to be, the bond is going to be $1,000
La fianza es de $1,000
with the condition that you not return to the Walmart at 2855 North Old Lake Wilson Road.
Y la fianza es de $1,000 con la condición de que no regrese a la tienda Walmart en el 2855 de la Orlo Wilson Road.
Judge, the defendant qualifies for direct PTR. Would you consider that release?
He doesn't live in Florida.
El acusado es elegible para libertad preventiva. El juez ha dicho él no parece vivir en la Florida.
We can still supervise him even if he doesn't live in Florida. Then.
You can?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, I didn't think you could. That's why I didn't do that.
Yes, Judge, our admin order allows us to supervise people out of state.
Okay, I will grant direct PTR. I'll change the bond to direct PTR.
Thank you, Judge.
Bien, se le cambia la fianza a que puede salir bajo el programa de libertad preventiva.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Yes, Judge.
All right, are there any court dates, Madam Clerk?
On demand.
So there are no current court dates set.
Actualmente no tenemos las fechas para el futuro aún.
All right. And our next case would be Natalia Hidrobo Bastidas. Yep, and that's 221 MM 255. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Buenas tardes, señora.
Ma'am, your case is related to the case I just called.
Señora, su caso está relacionado con el caso previo que acabo de hablar.
You are also entitled to be represented by a lawyer.
Usted también tiene el derecho de ser representada por un abogado.
You may hire your own lawyer, or if you wish to be represented by the public defender and you qualify, that office can be appointed to represent you.
Usted también tiene el derecho de ser representado por un abogado, tiene el derecho de contratar su propio abogado, o si es elegible puede solicitar la Oficina de Defensores Públicos para que les represente.
You would have to fill out an affidavit before they were appointed unconditionally.
Va a tener que llenar una affidavit, una solicitud para que se lo puedan designar incondicionalmente.
In the meantime, I'm going to provisionally appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you in this case.
Por el momento se le designa a la Oficina de Defensores Públicos para que les represente en este caso.
You were arrested, ma'am, for petty theft.
Usted, señora, fue arrestada por el caso de hurto menor.
I have reviewed the affidavit and find probable cause.
Yo he repasado la affidavit acusatoria y hallo que hay causas.
And it looks like you also qualify for pretrial release, so I will impose that with the condition that you not return to the Walmart at 2855 North Old Lake Wilson Road.
Usted también es elegible para el programa de libertad preventiva. Esa es con una condición que no regrese a la tienda Walmart, que está en el 2855 de la Old Lake Wilson Road.
Are there any court dates, Madam Clerk?
On demand.
Okay, there are no future court dates set as of now.
Aún no tenemos las fechas de corte para el futuro.
Thank you, ma'am.
Gracias, señora.
Are there any other individuals who need the assistance of the interpreter?
¿Hay alguna otra persona que vaya a necesitar la asistencia del intérprete?
All right, I don't believe so, Ms. Romero.
Thank you, Your Honor. You have a good weekend.
You do the same. Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome.
All right, then that brings us to Daniel Anthony Ramdas. Good afternoon, sir. Sir, you were arrested on a warrant issued by Judge Soto out of Seminole County. She issued a violation of probation warrant for you. She set bond at $0. I will provisionally appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you until you get back to Seminole, and then you'll need to address representation in that court.
I have a lawyer, sir.
Okay. Do you already have the lawyer?
Yes, I hired him, but I have this case I'm on is dismissed. I don't know why, they got dismissed.
Yeah, I don't know. All I know is you have a warrant signed by Judge Soto, so your lawyer will need to sort that out. So I'll rescind the appointment of the public defender because that will cost you if I don't do that. So since you've got a lawyer, you're entitled to be represented by counsel. The court will appoint a lawyer for you if you ultimately can't afford one, okay? But as of now, I have no court dates for you. You'll be transported back to Seminole at some point. Okay, thank you. Corey James Dixon. Good afternoon, Mr. Dixon. Sir, you were arrested on an out-of-county warrant from Lake County. The paperwork tells me your case number there is 20MM3299. It is in reference to a petty theft charge, it looks like. Bond was set by the Lake County judge at $2,000. I do not have are you represented by a lawyer, sir? All right, I'll provisionally appoint the public defender here in Osceola County to represent you. You'll be transported back to Lake if you don't post bond. And you'll have to either hire counsel or have a public defender appointed there. If you bond out, you'll need to complete an affidavit there if you wish to be represented by a public defender there. And you can also hire your own lawyer, as I said. I have no information about the charge of it, so I will impose, the only condition I'm going to impose on the bond is no return to the location of the alleged offense. Okay? Thank you, sir. That brings us to Neil Lee Minton. Good morning, sir. So you were arrested, sir, on a warrant out of Highlands County, and looks like it's for a failure to appear on various charges, expired driver's license, with knowledge that it was that the license was suspended or revoked, possession of drug paraphernalia, and providing false name to a law enforcement officer, and resisting arrest without violence. The judge in in Highlands County set your bonds at $4,000 on 4 counts and on $8,000 on 1 count for a total of $24,000. Okay?
Yes, sir.
I don't have any information about your case other than that, so you'll either bond out or you'll be transported to Highlands. Do you have a lawyer in Highlands County?
Not currently, Your Honor. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with the case yet, so you can appoint me a public defender right now.
All right, yeah, they won't help you in Highlands County, but as long as you're here, they'll appoint the public defender's office provisionally to assist you while you're here in Osceola. If you want to be represented by the public defender's office in Highlands, you'll need to complete an affidavit there, and you'll have to qualify, obviously, or you can hire your own lawyer.
Yes, sir.
All right, thanks, sir. All right, and then this brings us to Israel Garcia Marzan. Good afternoon, sir. All right, sir, I actually signed the warrant on this violation of probation. You'll be set for arraignment, but you've been accused of violating it's actually community control, violating the order of community control. You, sir, are a violent felony offender of special concern. What that means is you're not entitled to a bond. I have no authority to set a bond for you. That label is going to follow you the rest of your life unless Florida law changes. So anytime you violate probation or community control, you're not going to be entitled to a bond. You're entitled to be represented by a lawyer. I'm going to provisionally appoint the office of the public defender. If you wish for me to unconditionally appoint that office, you'll need to complete an affidavit, and if you qualify, I will do that at a later date. Or you can also hire your own lawyer. This is case number, for the record, 2019 CF 3276. Madam Clerk, do we have a court date?
Yes. Next court date, February 8th at 8:45 a.m.
All right, so your next court date is going to be February 8th at 8:45. Okay, thank you. That brings us to Willie James McBride. Good afternoon, sir. This is case number 2020 CF 2420. Sir, in your case, Judge Wooten issued a warrant for failure to appear at an arraignment for fleeing or attempting to elude a law enforcement officer with siren and lights activated and driving while license suspended. He set your bond on the first count at $20,000 and your bond on the second count at $1,000. You are entitled to be represented by a lawyer. You can hire your own lawyer, or if you qualify, the court can unconditionally appoint the public defender's office to represent you. You'll need to complete an affidavit to do that, and the appointment would occur at a later date. For today's purposes, and in the meantime, I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you provisionally, okay? Madam Clerk, is there a court date for Mr. McBride?
Next court date, February 9th at 9:30 a.m.
February 9th at 9:30, sir. Thank you. All right, and then our next is Matthew Morris. Good afternoon, Mr. Morris. So you're entitled to be represented by a lawyer as well. You can hire your own lawyer, or if you qualify, the court will appoint the public defender's office to represent you after you complete an affidavit. In the meantime, I'm going to provisionally appoint that office to represent you now. So you were arrested for written threats to commit bodily harm. Judge O'Kane has reviewed the warrant and issued and found probable cause. She set your bond, sir, at $25,000. Let's see if she set conditions. Conditions are you may have no contact, indirectly or directly, with Teresa Pehush or Emil Pehush, P-E-H-U-S-H. All right? No contact means direct or indirect. You can't do it in writing. You can't do it electronically or digitally. You can't do it through another person. If you have any questions about what that means, you can't go within 500 feet of them or their home. If you have any questions what that means, you need to speak to the public defender about that, sir.
Can we lower that bond amount at all?
I'm sorry?
Can we lower that bond amount at all?
That would be up to the division judge. All right? Madam Clerk, do we have a court date for him?
No, on demand.
All right, so there's no other court date set right now, sir. I think that's all. Thank you, sir. All right, then that brings us to Karen Lisa Russell. Good afternoon, ma'am. Ma'am, you were arrested on a warrant issued by Judge Arendas for failure to appear at arraignment. Judge Arendas set bond at $2,999. You're entitled to be represented by a lawyer. As I've told everyone else, you can hire your own counsel, or if you qualify, you can be represented by the Public Defender's Office after you complete an affidavit. In the meantime, I'm going to appoint that office provisionally to assist you. All right. Madam Clerk, do we have any court dates?
Next court date. Hold on. Next court date, February 8th at 9 a.m.
And Ms. Russell's court date, court case number is 2020 MM 2992 for the record. All right, thank you, ma'am.
February 8th, you think?
I'm sorry?
February 8th?
Yes.
Yeah.
Here?
Thank you. All right, then we have Mr. Burton Earl Burton. Good afternoon, Mr. Burton. You have three cases, sir. 21 CT 245, 21 CT 246, and 21 MM 253. You were charged, sir, in the two traffic cases with driving while license suspended or revoked and no motor vehicle registration. I reviewed the affidavit and I do find probable cause for those offenses. Bond on each of those will be at $500 with the condition that you not drive an unregistered motor vehicle and that you not drive without a valid license. And of course, if you did either of those things, that would also be a new law violation, which would automatically revoke bond. Or violate terms of release, I should say. You were also charged with providing a false official statement in case number 21 MM 253. I find that there is probable cause for that offense as well. Bond on that offense will be $250. So you're entitled to be represented by counsel. You can hire your own counsel, or if you qualify, after completing an affidavit, the court would appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. Until then, I'm going to provisionally appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you now. Also, because there's probable cause to believe that you committed new law offenses, your bond in case number 20 CF 2597 in Orange County, I guess that's ROR, in Orange County will be revoked. Okay? Madam Clerk, are there any court dates?
On 21 CT 245 and 21 CT 246, next court day is February 11th, it's still in jail, or March 10th at 8:30 a.m. if released.
Okay, thank you, sir. That brings us to Andre Christopher, rather.
Judge, he refused.
Okay, did they roll him to the weekend or till Monday?
They go tomorrow.
Tomorrow? Okay. All right.
Except for tomorrow, Judge.
Tomorrow, yes. What about Robert Cruz?
He bonded out, Judge.
Okay. And what about Anthony Gonzalez?
He's here, Judge.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Gonzalez. Sir, your case number is 21 CF 292. You were arrested, sir, with the charge of burglary, for the charge of burglary of an unoccupied structure, forced entry, and also criminal mischief greater than $200 but less than $1,000. I reviewed the arrest affidavit. I do find probable cause to support the charges. Your bond, sir, is going to be $3,500 on the first count and $500 on the second count for a total of $4,000. You are entitled to be represented by a lawyer. You can hire private counsel, or if you qualify and wish to be represented by the Office of the Public Defender, the court would appoint that office to represent you after you complete that affidavit. In the interim, I'm going to appoint the Public Defender's Office provisionally to represent you for the time being. Okay? Conditions of your bond, sir, are going to be to not return to the premises of the school where this happened, or is alleged to have happened, 1700 Millsloth Road in Kissimmee. All right. I believe that's everything. Thank you, sir.
Judge, can you repeat the bond amounts?
Yeah, they were $3,500 on the first count and $500 on the second count.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
Sure. And then that brings us to Zachariah McCowan. Good afternoon, Mr. McCowan. This is case number 21 CF290. So you were arrested and charged with grand theft between $300 and $5,000 and petty theft first offense. You're entitled to be represented by a lawyer. If you want, you can hire private counsel. If you don't want private counsel or can't afford private counsel, the court would appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you if you qualify and you complete an affidavit. In the interim, I'm going to appoint the Public Defender's Office provisionally to assist you. All right? You're arrested, sir, with those charges. I've reviewed the affidavit of arrest, and I do find probable cause to support the charges. Bond is set at $1,000 on the first count and $250 on the second count. Condition of bond will be that you not return to 6990 East Earl Bronson Memorial Highway, and also that you have no contact with Angel Vieira and what's the other gentleman's name? I see. Herminio Barrero. All right, no contact with those individuals and no contact to the 7-Eleven at the address I previously stated.
And Judge, the defendant is on probation, felony probation in 2020 CF 1804.
I see that here. And in case number 20 CF 1804, because there is probable cause of a new law offense, I will make an on-view violation of probation finding and order that you be held with zero bond until that case can go back to the division judge. Do we have any court dates from Mr. McCowan?
On demand.
Okay, no current court date set. Thank you, sir. All right, that takes us to Homero Robles. Good afternoon, sir. Yours is case number 21MM256. So you're also entitled to be represented by a lawyer. You can hire private counsel, or the court will appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. if you qualify after you complete an affidavit. In the meantime, I'm going to provisionally appoint that office to represent you. Now, you were arrested, sir, with petty theft, first offense. I reviewed the affidavit of arrest. I do find probable cause for the offense. It looks like you do meet criteria for PTR. So given the nature of the offense, I will place you on PTR, sir. You are ordered not to return to the Wawa located at 3140 Vineland Road. And Madam Clerk, do we have any court dates?
No, on demand.
And no current court dates set. Thank you, sir.
Judge, is that direct PTR?
That's direct PTR. Okay, that brings us to Elvin Rodriguez Roman.
Judge, he refused.
That brings us to Steven Spoto.
Judge, he is in self-harm. However, he does have a Baker Act on hold, so the public defender's office will ask if it's possible to ROR him, since he does have that Baker Act on hold, and to take no action on the other matter.
State, what's your position?
Judge, the state would object. The allegations are injuries to individuals, and the victim
I
have.
can't hear her, Your Honor.
I would object. The victim, there are two victims in this case, and they have a right to be heard, so I would object on that basis.
The victims are here.
I believe this is the mother, Judge, of the defendant.
Oh,
That's here.
not the victim herself, or himself, or whomever. Okay. And when did the Baker Act get filed?
I'm not sure, Judge. I was just told that by PTR this afternoon.
It was placed today, Judge, the detainer for Baker Act. It was placed today. I believe they want to transfer it into Park Place.
Okay. All right, ma'am, raise your right hand to be sworn. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
All right, tell me what you want me to hear.
I'm requesting that my son be released so that he can go to Park Place. He is unstable. He was in a car accident, and the car is totally, well, that's besides the point. He's very unstable. He has mental illness, a history of mental illness, with a episode as recent, before this week, it was as recent as April 2020, where he was in Park Place for a while.
Voluntarily committed?
Committed on a Baker Act. He's taking medication. He was due for one this Wednesday, and he did not take the dosage. He takes an injection. He goes to Park Place every month. But he was already at the point of no return at this point. Very out of touch with reality and his identity as well. I was in communication with Lanella Casing of Park Place. She's she oversees the group there, and she knows his history. She's well informed of his history.
So what are my options for having him transferred directly to Park Place?
Judge, your options are to either give him a bond or ROR him. He does not qualify for PTR due to being out on bond already.
He's already out on bond.
Those are the only options, Judge.
Judge, can he get close to the microphone as well? It's really hard to hear in jail.
The judge asked one of his options. I informed the judge that he doesn't qualify for PTR. It's either ROR or set bonds.
And Judge, there is a bond on the case. I do not object to you sending a bond, but I do object to ROR without hearing from the victims.
Yeah, since he's already out on bond, I'm not inclined to do an ROR. because he can actually be held without bond as a result of the charges in this case.
Judge?
Ma'am, tell me how much your son can afford for bond.
And Judge, again, I'm going to object. We're pretty much having a bond hearing. Again, it's a violation of the Marcy's Law of the victim's rights.
Well, the victims aren't here, and they knew they could be here.
Yeah, but I didn't know we was going to have a bond hearing.
We're not into a bond hearing. You can always address bond at an initial appearance. So, yes, bond is currently set at $3,000.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
If bond is not posted, he cannot go to Park Place.
Correct.
He needs to get stable. He needs his medication. He is unstable. I'm sorry.
I'm asking how much can you afford or he afford, you afford, whomever's helping him pay the bond, how much can be afforded?
I don't even know. I don't even know right now. $3,000.
That's what the bond is on this case already. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave the bond set as it is at $3,000. I'm not making any findings since he's not here. This will have to be reset. Or I guess it'll be taken care of at arraignment if he bonds out. But I'll leave bond set at $3,000. I'm not going to revoke bond in the other case. But I'm setting the special condition that upon release, Mr. Spoto is to go immediately, to be transported immediately to Park Place and to comply with all recommended evaluations, all recommended treatment and medications. And that's a condition of the bond.
Okay, so there's no way besides bond that he can, that's it.
I will not let him out ROR because he's out on bond already. So I could revoke the other bond and make him stay in there.
No,
I'm not doing that.
I understand.
But I will leave the bond as is on the case with those conditions.
Okay.
Okay?
So Judge, no ROR even though he has that Baker Act hold?
Correct.
Okay.
He can still go to Baker Park Place even after he pays the bonds. Just because he pays bonds doesn't mean that he cannot go to Park Place.
Wait, what did he say, Your Honor?
I'm saying that even if he doesn't get released ROR, he can still go to Park Place even after he pays the bonds.
Yeah, well, I condition the bond on him going to Park Place and complying with all.
Yes, Judge.
Yeah.
Will he have transportation from here to Park Place? Because he is unstable. Like I said, he is out of touch with reality. I tried to get him to voluntarily go to Park Place the other day, and he said, I'm fine, Ma. And obviously, he's not. I don't even know if he's there. I don't even know if he went to the hospital after the accident. His car is totaled.
Ma'am,
I know, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry that you have this to deal with, but I don't transport, so.
Judge, may I ask her a question?
Sure.
Who's going to be paying this bond?
I'm gonna have to, I don't know, I'm gonna have to pay it.
I'm sorry, I cannot hear you, ma'am.
I'm sorry, if I have no choice, I have to pay it because he has to get stable. Jail is not good for him right now. My concern is he gets stabled. If he has to do jail time after he gets stable, then that's what he has to deal with. But right now, he's not stable. He has not slept. He hasn't been sleeping. He's not on his medication. And this is a history with him. And, I'm even thinking it's none of, it's irrelevant now, but I'm thinking of taking legal guardianship over him because he is not able to care for himself.
Well, and that's what the assessment at Park Place could do. I mean, we're a little bit hamstrung because he's not here today. Normally, I would roll it till tomorrow.
Yeah, where is he? I thought he would be here.
He's in medical or something.
'Cause I spoke to Miss Mendoza this morning, and she said that he is unstable, and I mean, I already knew he was unstable.
I don't know who transports how that, I have no knowledge. So, anyway, that's what we're doing.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Good luck.
All right, thank you.
All right, and then that brings us to Gerard Jason Steele. Good afternoon, sir. Judge Onsavich issued a warrant for you, sir, for failure to appear in case number 19 CT 3604. And your bond is set at 0 on that case. Madam Clerk, well, before I get into that, this is case number 2019 CT 3604. You're entitled to be represented by counsel, sir. You can hire your own lawyer, or if you wish to be represented by the public defender's office, you can complete an affidavit and the court would appoint a lawyer if you qualified. And they would do that at a later date because we're not doing that today. But for today's purposes, I will provisionally appoint the Office of the Public Defender to help you until you have counsel one way or the other. Madam Clerk, do we have a future court date for Mr. Steele?
Yes. In all three cases, the next court date is February 4th at 8:05 a.m.
Yeah, and let me, I didn't realize there were 3 cases because I had unclipped them, I guess. All right, so I just told you about 3604. There's also a warrant in case number 2019 CT 4346. And in that case, that was also a failure to appear, and bond was also set at 0. You have the same rights of representation in that case as I told you before. And also you have 2019 CT 3962. That's also a failure to appear bond and 0 bond. And again, you have the same right of representation I referenced before, and I'm provisionally appointing the Office of the Public Defender in all of those cases. Okay? Is there anything else we need to do? All right.
Is there a court date for him?
Madam Clerk, announce them. What are they again, Madam Clerk?
February 4th at 8:05 a.m.
February 4th at 8:05.
That's it, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you, sir. Have a great weekend.
You too.
All right, everybody have a great weekend.
Have a good weekend, Judge.
We will be adjourned.